Hey small group, this video is a short overview about the concept of boundary management and open and closed boundaries in systems. I know it can be a little bit foreign or confusing, so I wanted to make sure that there was a short video on this. Okay, so if you're looking at the slide here, what you notice is we've got boundaries and we've got this concept of an open and a closed system. So if you look at the screen, you can see the open system is, that's essentially your group in this case. And the boundary is whatever's controlling the information flow or new things, new things getting in and old things getting out of the group or any type of system, but we're talking about groups here. So an open system means that information and ideas pass easily in and out through the system's boundaries, through the edge of the group. But it's really easy to get through. There's a lot of back and forth. So there's a lot of exchange of ideas between what's happening in the system and the outside environment. So that would be in your group. Your group is the system, and if it's open, that means you have a lot of contact with other groups. You have a lot of contact with the instructor. You have a lot of contact with outside ideas. You have a lot of you do a lot of research. You are making good use of the textbook. You talk to other people about it at home. All those different kinds of things. There's a lot of information. The group has really far-reaching potential, and stuff goes freely back and forth. A closed system is the opposite of that. It means that those boundaries are really hard to get through, and that basically the group kind of stays inside of itself and doesn't get a lot of contact with the outside of the system. So that means there's very limited information or ideas and stuff being exchanged. So that would be a situation where you're not talking to the instructor very much. You don't have any interaction with other groups. You're not getting, you're not researching online. You aren't talking about groups to other people. You don't have other groups to have contact with. That's a closed system. And you can kind of see just in these examples already, you might be feeling out there's positives and negatives to both. You kind of really want to be somewhere in the middle. You want to be as close to the open system as possible and still have it be manageable. So I'm going to give you a metaphor to try to help you think about this. If your system, you're the gray blob, that's your group, and is exposed to the environment, there's a boundary. I need to proactively and carefully manage that boundary, and sometimes I want to be a little more closed, and sometimes I want to be a little bit more open, and I need to think about that. So I'm going to give you an example that's a metaphor that's about an actual system, the environment, and then we're going to apply that metaphorical instance. It's a real thing that does happen to what happens in your group. So if you think about it, if the system was the town you live in, and it rains, if you get too much rain, you get a flood. You want some rain, right? Just the same way you want some information coming into your system. But where there's too much, the system can no longer keep up with it and you get a flood. There is a system built to account for rain. That's part of nature. However, if I get too much too fast, I have problems. The same is true in the reverse. If my boundary, if I have not enough rain, if no rain is coming through into my system, if the boundary's weeding it all out, then I have a different problem. I have a drought because I need some rain, right? In this system, in my town, I need some water. So what I really want is enough rain, enough information to thrive, but not so much that I get a flood. The same works with your system as a group. That's just the environment is just a different type of system, right? The same works with information in your group. You want enough contact with the outside, in this case, that's the water, right? You want enough contact with the outside that you're thriving, that you're growing, that you're changing, that you're getting new ideas. You want new research. You want the contact with the instructor. You want to talk about what's going on in other groups. You want all of that. But you don't want so much that you can't process it all. So you have to have good boundaries. The system really wants balance. A different way, and you do this all the time. The moment you go to make a Google search, you don't search for, if you want the baseball game time for Sunday, you don't search for baseball. You search for whatever the team name is, game. So, and then you put the date in there if you know it, Sunday. Giants game on Sunday. That's how you find out the time. You gave it just enough information to give you what you wanted, and not so much other stuff that you don't want it. That's what we're doing in a group. We're always trying to seek a place of balance so that we have enough information in contact with the outside that we're moving forward and we have what we need, but not so much that the whole system is overwhelmed. And in this case, the contact with the environment is those things that I was talking about at the beginning of the video. It's contact with others, contact with other groups, contact with your instructor, the access to research, how much research you're doing, the ability to access the library, all those kinds of things. Those are the contact with the outside environment. So again, you want as open of a system as possible, given your parameters. You just don't want it so open that you can't actually function. You've got to get as far close to the open side as you can without having so much that you can't take in anymore.